Gaurav Patole, thank you very much for coming on to the Data Strategy Show. 66 questions, Data Leaders Unplugged. Gaurav, how are you doing?
Hey, hi, Samit. Good morning. Yeah, I'm doing really good. Thanks for having me on this shows. This show is really popular,
Oh,
and I'm
thank
glad
you.
to be a part of this show. Looking forward to the questions.
Well, it's great to have you on, and
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you for coming onto the show. So, Gaurav, as always, 66 questions. We are going to go straight into it. So tell me, Gaurav, what is your wake-up ritual?
Oh, I wake up every morning, and check out my emails first
Aha,
thing.
you're a man who looks for his emails immediately.
Yeah.
Okay. What's happening in the world today? What would you say is your biggest strength?
Yeah, my biggest strength is, I know how to balance, my work in terms of both business and the IT side, and that has helped me over the years. And I thank my mentors, for that.
So they're kind of hybrid individual
Yeah,
then
kind of
between the
a
two.
hybrid.
Mm.
Yeah, that
Mm.
is kind of my strength. And data governance demands it. It cannot be
Yes,
only one side of the edge.
absolutely
So
true. Absolutely true. What's the biggest learning experience you've ever had?
Yeah, I have faced many challenges around this data governance area,
Hmm.
especially around, how tough it can be to change people's style of working. In many projects, we find it, very difficult. But my learning experience has been that, you need to be patient in this entire journey.
Yeah.
It's not easy to change, the entire data culture or culture basically for an
Hmm.
organization.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
it takes a lot more than just saying that, okay, just I don't basically don't want to be a kind of a police or dictator in terms of that. So I
Yes.
try to be pretty much simple and take at the speed which the individual or the
Hmm.
organization expects.
Hmm.
So that is my learning, and go with the flow and not force enforce anything.
Sure. Yeah. Very, very good advice. What's your favorite time of day?
Oh, favorite time of day, I'll say in the late evenings. That's
Hmm.
time because when my son goes to sleep and I am free
And you
to
have
get
a
some
you have a son who's what, 6 months old
six
now,
months old.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can imagine. I can imagine
Yes.
that's peaceful time.
That's peaceful time. Yeah.
Yes, not looking at your emails, talking to your wife, I hope.
Yes, exactly.
Is there advice you wish you could give up?
uh yes, I think I'll give up the early morning same email
Oh,
wake up
really?
thing. Yeah, my wife
You know,
doesn't like it.
I'm sure there's one way to do that. Keep this outside of the room.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's great
My
advice. Yes.
wife has now made me not bring any kind of device into the bedroom, nothing at all. So it shouldn't disrupt our sleep, and it shouldn't disrupt the morning wake up
True.
pattern, which I think is probably a good thing.
Yeah, I
Um.
have two of them. One is work and one
Ah.
is personal. So my
Oh
wife
dear.
gets,
So you're
little, but
checking
yeah,
too. Oh my
yeah.
goodness. Wow. So tell me, what makes you angry?
Sometimes, I get little bit, carried away if, things are not going in the right direction from a work
Mm-hmm.
perspective.
Mm-hmm.
If things are getting, little bit slogged down and there is nothing, which I can do in my personal capacity. But
Mm-hmm.
that's what, the learning has been, that it's important to keep with the place and, gradually, build that, what I can say, because I am in this domain working around the entire data. Like I said, it's not easy to,
Yeah. Yeah.
do something quickly and show the results. It takes a lot of patience. So
Mm-hmm.
I was an impatient man before, and this this industry made is trying to make me a little bit of patience. So that is something. Some days are not good, but yeah, I'm trying to cope up with that.
Interesting. So data governance has given you the patience that you need in your
Yeah,
life.
yeah, of course.
Wonderful, wonderful. What are you most excited about these days?
I am most excited about, yes, apart from like my seeing my son growing up,
Sure,
and being part
sure.
of all his
Yeah.
activities. I am, waiting to go to India and travel to other parts of country because of
Right.
this entire COVID area. We haven't
Yes.
been, anywhere since last 3 years.
Oh
So
my
I'm going to
goodness.
my home after three
Yes.
years
Oh,
next month. So
fantastic.
that
Oh,
is what I
wonderful.
am excited about. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. What's the best compliment you've ever received?
I have received, compliments from my mentors who are actually my teachers in this area,
Hmm.
saying that, okay, that they are saying that, it was really an honor for them to, work with me and try to collaborate on different projects. And it really feels good, because I am kind of, I started my career back in 2015, 2016, but
Hmm.
the people who I'm working was like more than 20-25 years of experience. And when they say that, okay, we are really proud to work with you,
Sure.
and they, that's kind of, motivates me, and I look
Hmm.
forward, even more to working with such people.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Um, what's a cause that is most important to you?
One of the important causes, which I try to do back in my country, India,
Hmm.
is to, try to get the children or from my village, where who are, underprivileged, to
Hmm.
kind of have them the career advice,
Right.
which I got, but not many of them usually get in. So I
Have
try
the
to
opportunity.
yes,
Mm.
it's my father's initiative, to be very frank. My father goes to various, as part of his connect, goes to various villages, and he talks to a lot of people, and he eventually, connects me with them, and I
Ah,
talk with them on phone, try to give some certain guidance. So that is what my thing is, because India is a very big market, and there are a
mm.
lot of opportunities in various areas that are opening
Yes.
up, apart from only the government jobs that were
Hmm.
primarily been looked on. So I try to kind of give my perspective in there, nothing black and white, but just general my perspective, and that
Sure.
is what I think I believe also in.
That's wonderful. Wonderful cause.
Thank you. Yeah.
What makes you smile the most?
uh yeah, currently it's my son's smile. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that is what makes me smile. It's a blessing, truly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yes, and able to see my work getting the desired results, that is
Yeah.
also something makes
Hmm.
me smile.
Hmm. Do you have a secret talent?
Yeah, I am a big Bollywood fan. I
Oh,
have
okay.
watched more than 200, 300 plus movies,
Oh my
almost all
goodness.
Bollywood movies, and
Oh
I have a
wow.
kind of a photographic memory for those movies. So
Oh wow.
that is what, and I am usually also a kind of a review writer for
Oh really?
the movies.
Amazing.
So
Amazing.
my wife gets a little bit pissed off sometimes, because in the theater I'm making the notes about, okay, what I want to write. So that is something, which I do.
Well, that's really cool. That's right, but that is definitely a secret talent of yours. If you weren't doing what you're doing now today in your professional life, what would you be doing?
I would be mostly in the advertisement or the marketing sector.
Yeah.
When I started my journey, or like I when completed my MBA, I
Hmm.
planned to go into the advertisement industry,
Right.
but yeah,
Okay.
it didn't work out, and I, fortunately then fell out into this data
Mhm.
management industry, which turned out to be good.
Yes.
So yeah,
Thank God for that then.
yeah, exactly.
What are the three things you can't live without? Obviously your two phones. That's one thing.
Yes. Yeah, the second thing would be food. I am a big
Okay.
food fan.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
kind of, like trying various cuisines.
Hmm.
And the third would be, family. That is
Yeah.
what is very much
Yeah.
important. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I know you talk about Bollywood, and you are a super fan, but apart from Bollywood, do you have do you binge watch particular shows,
Yeah.
or yeah, you do? So what was the last show you binge watched?
Yeah, currently I'm watching the Big Bang Theory.
Oh yes.
I get, like I said, I get some evening time, that is free time. I binge watch certain episodes every day
Okay.
on that
uh,
was being missed. So
uh,
that is what I'm doing.
you're a bit of a nerd at heart, are you, or is it
Yes.
just the comedy style? What's the most adventurous thing you've done in your life?
Okay, adventurous. I am not a trekking or that kind of fan, so nothing
Okay.
adventurous
Yeah.
related
Yeah.
to uh, that thing. But yeah, I have been what I can say about adventure. yeah, I have taken certain risks in my
Hmm.
work life in my previous organizations,
Hmm.
going beyond the obvious, and which
Yeah.
which was on the edge, which if worked it went well, if it don't, it would have been a backfired. But
Right.
that what's kind of I have
The
done in my work,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
certain things I believe in, I stick to them.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's what's the adventurous. I'm not a
Okay.
trekking or a hiking fan. You give me movie, the most adventurous I do in a 9-hour flight to
Yeah, it's
India. I
watch some
watch
movies.
all 9 hours. I can watch Indian movies. That's the most adventurous thing.
how how would you define yourself in 3 words?
I would define myself as hardworking, ambitious, and I would like to also call myself a bit of humble.
Hmm.
I know it's not should not be coming from my end, but from the others. But that's what
Sure.
I would like to call.
Sure. And is there anything that is currently inspiring you in the data world right now?
Yeah, I there are a lot of things, and basically one of the most inspiring things is like the growing traction around my area of work, the data
Hmm.
governance,
Hmm.
and seeing how it's not being looked only from a technical lens, or just kind of a okay to do activity, but it's getting so much focus. It's being a hot topic in all the conferences,
Hmm.
and the leaders, my leaders, it's believing in that area, and it gives me seeing that okay, when I started data governance, it was more of a documentation kind of work
Sure.
which we
Yeah.
used to do. But
All about
now,
policies.
yes, all
Yeah.
about policies, but it's now about actually how it can impact the business and all those
Hmm.
wonderful things it has.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Hmm.
so that's really inspiring, and it
Yeah.
motivates me that okay, there are so many things to do in this area in
Hmm.
in coming years.
Hmm. Hmm. And what's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Yes, I have received that, never first advice is never come underprepared to any meetings from my mentors.
Uh-huh.
So, whenever I go to
Always be
any,
prepared.
always
Yes.
be prepared,
Yeah.
whether it's with any audience,
Yes.
whether it's, audience doesn't matter. You have to be a 100% sure
Yeah.
of what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. And growing up, there's obviously I grew up in England. Um, the we used to have something called Cubs, and the motto for Cubs, which is about scouts and Cubs, I'm sure the same it happens, but the motto is be prepared.
Yeah,
So it's
exactly.
very interesting that we tend to forget that when we get to a certain point in our lives. But anyway,
Yes.
do you remember the moment your career completely changed?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say, back in 2018, that I started, in 2016 around this entire data management. But
Mm-hmm.
in the initial years, it was, very much of a learning phase. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't knew what I was doing, to be very frank, a
Mm-hmm.
couple of projects here and there. But when in 2018, I traveled to UK for a project with my ex-boss,
Mm-hmm.
over here, and it completely changed my thinking around this area. Basically, it got me motivated to go into this area, looking at people, how they interact with the C-suite executives,
Mm-hmm.
and how they try to fiddle up with this topic, and all those things. So that was, I think, when I got really interested in this domain. I
Mm-hmm.
kind of contributed, I made my presentations, and there was a moment, if I may, that in a particular C-suite meeting, my ex-boss and I were there, and he was giving the presentation, and I was just turning up the slides, and in the middle of the presentation he says, okay, now Gaurav will present the rest of that, and I'm like, okay,
Okay.
but what? But luckily it went really well,
Oh,
because
good.
I went prepared, and that's where I thought, okay, I can really talk about this
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and this is what something. So I think that is kind of a moment for me.
Yeah, wonderful. What are the 3 words? I mean, in our exchange before we started, you've lived in Belgium, you've lived in Norway, but what would you say are the 3 words to describe living in the UK?
Yeah, living in the UK, basically, one thing is access to all English language. I have
Mm-hmm.
struggled with languages in other
Right.
countries.
Countries.
So
Yeah, of
yeah,
course.
yeah. So
Yeah.
with the English thing is definitely there. Second, a lot of Indian diaspora, I would
Yeah.
say. So a lot
Yes.
of friends, families,
Mm-hmm.
relatives are based
Mm-hmm.
out of UK. That
Yep.
helps certainly.
Yep.
And third is obviously the amounts of opportunities which are present
Mm-hmm.
here
Mm-hmm.
in the entire financial or the entire data world, to be really
Mm.
specific.
Mm.
So it's really a good place to be, I think, at this moment.
Yeah, fantastic. So I know you're a movie buff and a Bollywood buff, but what's heavily played on your music playlist right now? And I'm expecting it to
Okay.
be, yeah,
Yeah, it's basically all simple Hindi and Marathi
yeah,
songs.
yeah,
Nothing kind of, I am not a like a pop guy
yeah.
concert, but typically what suits me, even, and that's something I got from my father. My father back in India plays all the 1970s 80s
Ah,
songs
so okay,
continuously on
okay,
his playlist. So while
yes,
growing up, I
that was
I
your
also,
influence.
yeah, so that
Yeah.
also kind of helped my liking. So yes, my
Aha.
wife's calls me that, okay, I am kind of sometimes behave like an oldie, but it's okay. Because I don't for like the pop songs and not, but yeah, I liked what I like.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. What are the three things at the top of your bucket list?
Yeah, one is to travel to a lot of countries,
Mm-hmm.
explore cuisines, because I like food, so explore
Mm-hmm.
cuisines.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is to establish, I think, myself in this entire data governance or data
Mm-hmm.
management
Mm-hmm.
industry as someone, as a contributor, rather than be a leader or something, but a
Sure.
contributor if I
Mm-hmm.
can in any way. And the third, I think it would be majorly more around learning some household activities, which I currently do not learn. That and my wife complains about a lot. I
And what would the
While
one that you'd want to learn? What would that
firstly
be?
is with I learned some cooking because I was staying away
Right.
for a while, but the
Okay.
rest of the activities, like
Yes.
washing the plates and all other
Yes.
things,
Yes.
basically
Yeah.
doing
Get a
household.
dishwasher.
Yeah. That's
They're
what.
quite good, they are.
Yeah, so something around that. And because my wife and kids are traveling to India for couple of months now, so I have to
Right.
something
Okay.
try. And making rotis is one of them.
Oh,
I
yes.
can't
That's a
make rotis.
difficult thing to do.
Yes.
I remember I used to have a tutor when I was 10 or 11 years old. And she was a family friend. And I used to go there. And she was very much into teaching boys also how to cook. So at the end of my tuition, she would then make me make
That's
rotis and
great.
stuff like that. So that's quite interesting. I've forgotten it all now, but what book did you most recently finish?
I am currently not finished, but almost verge of finishing, is The Little History on Economics by Niall Kistani.
Okay.
It's a good book to understand
Mm-hmm.
the basics of economies, how it
Mm-hmm.
fared from the earlier centuries. So
Yes. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
it's a good
Okay.
read.
If you could go back in time, what would you tell your 16-year-old self?
Yeah, I would tell myself to be at that time to be a little bit more mature. To my 16, I done some crazy
That's fair
things in
advice.
college. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
that's fair
and
advice.
also, like I said, to be not to be too much worried about,
Yeah.
that's one advice. I was too much focused because of my family background and the kind
Right.
of adversities. So it
Mm-hmm.
was more about, okay, if you don't do these things, you will not get to a good start. And
Sure.
so, but I think we need to tell people to have a little bit of self time during those
Yes,
ages.
absolutely. You're right. If you could switch lives with one person for a day, who would it be?
I would be the cricketer Mahendra Singh Dhoni. I'm a big
Okay.
fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
also kind of a inspiration for me on leadership and other activities.
Of
So
course.
I would,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
Fantastic. It's the first time I've heard that one. What's the one thing you've always wanted to try?
I always wanted to play professional cricket,
Right.
not professional, even in through clubs or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
I grew up as a cricket fan, because in
Mm-hmm.
India everyone is a
Yes,
cricket
of
fan.
course. Of
So
course.
I
Yeah.
grew up on that, but I
Mm-hmm.
didn't get an opportunity to participate or go to some professional clubs and play for it.
Right.
So
And
that is.
In the UK, there are plenty of local clubs that you
Yes,
can.
yes.
And what are you, a bowler or a batsman?
A batsman, typically.
Batsman.
Yeah.
High score?
I don't remember. It was way back in back in school now.
Okay. If you could resurrect one person from history and put them in the world today, who would it be?
Okay, resurrect one person from history. I would say, uh, you know, it would be mostly the ex Prime Minister of India, Atal
Mhm.
Bihari Vajpayee ji, because I
Okay.
am also somewhat into, political, readings and all. But so I
Mhm.
would like to have that man was great in some of the things he did for the
Mhm.
country.
Mhm.
So I think that would be my answer.
Okay. Very good. Do you have any form of favorite exercise?
Oh, currently my wife says no exercise because I don't
Really?
exercise at all. So
Oh,
my
oh
wife is
dear.
always complaining to do any kind of exercise
Oh
will
my
be an
goodness.
exercise. But yeah,
Oh my goodness.
I because of the current most favorite exercise is to carry my 6 month son and try to
Yes.
console him round back and all through the walking through
That's
my
it. That
home.
that's enough exercise.
Yes, that's enough
Um,
exercise.
if you were not living in the UK right now, where would you be living?
I would be living in my hometown,
You would
Pune,
be.
India.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you could offer one piece of advice to upcoming data leaders, what would it be?
Yeah, I would be saying, my advice would be to keep on, to be curious basically in
Mm-hmm.
this area. There is
Mm-hmm.
no one size fits all approach
Yeah.
in this area. Every organization, even every business unit in each organization has different challenges, different culture.
Mm-hmm.
The solutions are not, one person, like one approach sticks to all. It has to
Mm-hmm.
be different for each organization. And
Yeah.
I'll say that be curious, learn. It's like the data governance industry is more about people and process than technologies. The focus
Yes.
should be more on the people side,
Yep.
on the processes side, and technology should just be an enabler. That's what
Mm-hmm.
my honest
Mm-hmm.
suggestion would be.
Yeah. Very good. I know you like traveling, and where was the best vacation you've ever taken?
It was in Norway, I would say. I
Ah.
went,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. In Norway, there are
Mm-hmm.
so many beautiful countrysides.
Mm-hmm.
It's just beautiful. Apart
Yeah.
from the normal where people go to see those Norwegian lights, but
Yes.
apart from that, Norway as a country is really beautiful.
Yeah. And was there a particular place in Norway that you remember
Uh,
that was an interesting place for you?
no, I don't remember that place. It was 3 years, so I'm bad at this. But
Okay.
that it's good. If you generally kind of search for it, entire Norway is good.
Yeah.
You travel
Yeah.
through the trains, and it's really good. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. What's one city you've always dreamed of traveling to?
I have always dreamt of traveling one or exploring the city of Paris.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to go there when I was in Belgium,
Yeah,
but
it would have
because
been
of the
perfect.
yes, but because of
Ah,
the
of
entire
COVID.
COVID
Yeah, yeah.
thing, and I was only a year in Belgium, and my
Right.
wife also was expecting a child at that time, so we
Ah,
didn't
yes.
make it unfortunately. But
Yeah,
I love seeing. I have seen it in many movies, and
yeah.
the
Mm-hmm.
culture, the street culture,
Mm-hmm.
exploring the culture of the Paris city. That would be
Mm-hmm.
great.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
beautiful place.
yeah,
What was the best lesson your parents ever taught you?
yeah. My parents have basically it's my grandparents because who with I grew up mostly with my grandparents,
Mm-hmm.
so they were kind of the best advice. Never stop learning. They
Mm-hmm.
both were teachers themselves, so
Right.
they were kind
Fantastic.
of very much into like, okay, your education, your learning should come first at
Mm-hmm.
all costs. So that is
Mm-hmm.
what actually helped me, my younger sister as well in that
Mm-hmm.
journey.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. What's your favorite food? I know you're a foodie, so tell me, what
Yes,
is it?
yes, I like Indian food.
Is there
I
any
love
particular food within the
yes,
Indian?
yeah, basically any chicken related cooks I try to do. I love chicken tandooris and all
Uh-huh.
those things.
Yep.
I cook them at home also. So
Right.
basically where there is a lot of masala in it,
Yes. Yeah, yeah,
any
yeah, yeah.
food like
Yeah.
to. that. But yes, I sometimes enjoy the Italian pastas also.
Uh-huh.
There are
Okay.
few
Yeah.
in UK where I stay
Yeah.
nearby, so
Yeah.
yeah, they are really good.
Wonderful. What's your favorite podcast?
Okay, the favorite podcast, I would to be really on. There are few on Spotify which I follow
Mm-hmm.
based
Mm-hmm.
on the, those are general motivation kind of Spotify. There
Yeah.
is no one
Yeah.
specific which I go to. But from today, it will be the data strategy
Oh,
show,
don't
I
be
would say.
silly. No, no, no. Tell me another one. No, no. Tell me another one.
No, no. To be
Yeah.
really honest, I don't follow any one specific
Ah, okay.
podcast.
Okay.
It's kind of
Yeah,
a
you sort
lot
of
of
dip in
things.
and out. How do you relax?
Yeah, my relaxation is watching the favorite content on my
Mm-hmm.
TV, and
Mm-hmm.
having some popcorn by the side, and or going to a beach and relaxing.
Oh, good. Yeah, yeah,
That's what I can say.
yeah. So you're a big Bollywood fan. What's a movie that made you cry?
There are a lot, but I can say yes, inspirational. I can say there is that the Three Idiots was good one.
Uh-huh.
There are few something specific to genres as well. Like I love some love story kind of movies. So there was one called as an Anjana also. If you
Right.
know that, it was
I don't.
some good movies are there.
I
So
unfortunately, Gaurav, I'm probably about the only Indian who doesn't really like watching Indian movies.
no, I've met many people like
although,
that.
although I did prefer the older movies, like you said earlier, you like to listen to that old style of
Yeah,
music.
yeah.
I preferred the very old movies like Mother India and Pakiza and
Okay.
things like that because my father and my grandmother and so on would watch those. So I think, watching a 3-hour Bollywood movie with dancing and, I can't do it. Um, who would you say is your biggest inspiration?
Yeah, on a personal front, I would again go to Mahendra Singh Dhoni,
Yep.
because that
Mm-hmm.
is something what a leadership lessons I learned
Mm-hmm.
from.
Mm-hmm.
And other from that, I would say my grandparents are my
Yeah.
inspiration, because
Yeah.
they toiled very hard to get
Mm-hmm.
me and my sister the education we always wanted.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I have seen their journey, so that's kind of an
Mm,
inspiration to me.
wonderful. What's something that you still have from your childhood?
I have a lot of memories from my childhood. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
the friends I have some friends when we started were around 1 year old or one and a
Oh,
half year
wow.
old.
Yeah,
We
yeah, yeah.
used to live in the same
Yeah, yeah,
building.
yeah.
We started doing all the things together, and we are still friends. So
Fantastic.
that is something,
Wonderful.
all the journey. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What's a data trend that you would like to see disappear?
Okay, that data governance falling under the IT side, or
Mm-hmm.
calling it as
Mm-hmm.
an IT role, that
Yes,
is
yes.
something. There are still organizations which categorize that. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it should not be under that
Sure,
bucket.
sure. Do you have a favorite band?
No, not
No?
really. I said like I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
basically simple singers.
Yes, yes. What's a superpower you wish you had?
Oh, superpower would be, yes, something to get disappear with when my baby starts crying and my wife starts yelling. I think I quickly disappear somewhere.
Fantastic. Okay, actually, if you just go back to that previous question, if you don't have a favorite band, who's your favorite singer?
I would say Kishore Kumar was,
Okay.
because
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what I hearing grew
yeah,
up. And in
yeah.
today's days, there are quite a few around.
Mm-hmm,
Like there is Arjit Singh and
mm-hmm,
few other Hindi,
mm-hmm.
but those are good. But Kishore
Yes,
Kumar is
was
always
the
kind of
best.
a legend.
Yeah.
Was the
Um,
best, yeah.
what's something you don't want to be doing in 10 years' time?
Yeah, I don't. One thing is that I don't want to be doing is, I don't want to be stuck in one place,
Mm-hmm,
doing the same and same activities
mm-hmm,
again. I
mm-hmm,
want to progress. I want to see my company progress, and I
mm-hmm.
want to see this entire domain which I work.
Mm-hmm.
progress. It's
Mm-hmm.
job for me. My job is not something that okay, I will do for years and years, and okay, it's just giving me financial support. But
Sure.
it's something that has to evolve with
Mm-hmm.
my company as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Looking back on your life, is there anything you would have done differently?
Yes, if I have to go back, I would say 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
In that time, if I would have been have a little knowledge, or studied more about this industry at that time, maybe I could have jumped in a little bit earlier in this
Right.
industry,
Okay.
and tried to learn a bit more from what I have been able to
Mm-hmm.
learn.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Which movie makes you laugh the hardest?
Oh, it is the show, basically, the Friends.
Oh, Friends. Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay. Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
kind of on a repeat telecast which me and my wife watches.
Aha,
So
fantastic.
yeah.
Um, if you could teach one subject in school, what would it be?
In Okay, if we are talking about school, primary school, then
Whatever. If you could teach something in a school or a university or college, what would it be?
it would be again in my areas, the data governance, data
Yeah.
quality
Yeah.
only. But if it was in school, I would focusing on the personality development,
Right.
kind of topic. Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. What's your greatest talent?
Ah, the greatest talent is something which can be related to a bit of work alcoholism, but it's not what I kind of relate to it. It is something that if I like something what I'm doing, I usually spend more hours sitting on them, and I do not leave that topic or that subject or that
Mm-hmm.
presentation unless I'm
Mm-hmm.
completely satisfied
Right.
with the output. So it might
Yeah.
take some time for me, but I stick to it, and I try to gain more perspective. It's not like okay, I do something just for sake of doing. So
Right.
I think that is what I think, a bit more grasp on what I am able
Mm-hmm.
to do
Mm-hmm.
is I would say my strength.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What three words best describe your leadership style?
Okay, so one thing would be, firstly, empathy, I would say, because I like I said, I don't consider myself to be a data established data leader. I'm
Mm-hmm.
still learning,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, it's really great to see how various people, even those people who have started their data management journey, seeing getting curious about this and asking the right questions, or presenting those ideas. It's really kind
Mm-hmm.
of great. So,
Mm-hmm.
and that is one of the thing I liked about. So, and the second thing I would say is punctuality. I
Right.
That
Okay.
is a falling trend, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm always on time to
Mm-hmm.
my meetings, to if anywhere, if I have to go. My wife doesn't like it because in the movies also I am a sharp 30 minutes before at the theater, and my wife doesn't like that. So that
Mm-hmm.
is, but in professional work I have seen it helps,
Yeah. Yes.
and
Yeah.
third one is sharing or networking. What I
Mm-hmm.
have seen that
Mm-hmm.
whatever little I know, I try to share through my post. I learn a lot. There are dedicated groups, people like
Mm-hmm.
you. There are many other people who
Mm-hmm.
share some good content. I try
Mm-hmm.
to share them back with the people I know.
Mm-hmm.
So that has helped to grow this in this industry. So
Sure.
that is what I will call.
Fantastic. What would you say are currently your top three data challenges?
Okay, one is definitely on the people side of things,
Mm-hmm.
through the change management, basically,
Mm,
to how do you
mm,
kind of get
yep.
into people and ask them to do something different than what they are used to doing.
Yeah.
The second challenge I see is, a lot of companies are focusing. Okay, there are really good startups or tools
Mm-hmm.
available in the market, but there is a kind of a perspective that okay, if you get a tool, it's done for us.
Yeah.
We don't want to
Yeah.
do
Yeah. Yeah.
anything. Spend some millions, get a tool, and
Yep.
it should be done. So I am kind of not agreed to that. I kind of try to challenge that perspective. That is the second challenge. And
Yep.
the third one would be, again, like I said, that things are bit slow in this industry,
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
get the outputs which we want,
Mm-hmm.
to even to get the business leaders, even it's though it started getting some traction from senior business leadership, I think there is a lot of room to where, where we get all the senior leadership and talk about this and, prioritize this
Right.
as part of their business initiatives. Yeah.
What's one thing you had to learn the hard way?
Okay, the one thing I had to learn hard way, this the same thing, that you cannot change people.
Yes.
Earlier when
Yeah.
I started things, I was just a junior working on some projects. We used to go and say that, okay, this is what you're doing wrong in your approach, okay, please do this. And
Yeah.
we used to see, okay, but who are you to tell us how should we
Sure.
work?
Sure.
So so that is something which I have learned the hard way. Yeah.
How do you handle pressure in your career?
Yeah, I basically sometimes, the best thing is for me to kind of relax, I try to shift my attention from what's kind of pressing me. I see that, I compare that as a situation in the game of cricket. To be really honest, that okay, there are some difficult balls which I
Yeah.
get, which I have to leave,
Yep.
but there will be some poor balls which I can hit for a boundary.
Okay.
So that is what I think I deal with. I often tend to write something, some few articles and anything just to relax myself, or because I love doing that.
Sure. Very good. What's something you notice about someone when you first meet them?
Okay, I notice it because there are a lot of instances like that, but the quickest on my mind is, I met Sachin Tendulkar few years ago on the airport, uh, and he's such a great man. But he just walked out of the lounge, and I was standing on the corner, just taking just my camera and just trying to click a picture of him, and he saw that, and he personally kind of said that, okay, you want a picture, come here.
Oh,
So
fantastic.
it's kind of so humble, so down to earth person, and that's kind of, so you never realize these things about people unless you meet them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well done. Great. What's something you still like to learn?
I would still like to learn on the broader spectrum of the data side. I am trying to dig deep into the data engineering aspects as well, although it's a bit technical for me, but I'm still, because we are part of that industry. So I'm trying to, learn that as well.
Very good. Very good. Okay, last question. What would you like to be remembered for?
I would be like to be remembered for my contributions to this entire data management industry, and not as someone, as a thought leader or someone, but basically as a contributor, person who loved talking about this stuff. Simple. I don't see myself getting, something really big on this, but to be really simple, that okay, this has made a difference in the industry. I have tried to, make some positive changes. That's what I wish to, and because that's what like I said, my inspiration, my grandparents also thought that work is not just work. It should be something that creates some meaning, a difference to the people you are working at. So purpose. So that's what I think.
Well, that's great. Well, Gaurav Patole, thank you so much for coming on to 66 Questions today. You've been fantastic.
That was a lot. Thank you, Samir. Yeah, thank you.
It's a pleasure.
I was.
Carry on.
Thank you for having me in this wonderful show. These were a lot of questions. Yeah, and I was hoping that if I had passed someone, said pass to someone. But yeah, I'm glad that
you
I
did
answered it.
You did well, Gaurav. Thank you so much for giving us your time today, and enjoy your weekend. Take care.
Same to you, Samir. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.